Dang it. You
Burr,
go.
burr, 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 burr. We made it, guys. Happy anniversary.
Nope.
Nope.
But happy episode 20. I really didn't know if we'd make it past 5 or 6, but glad to see that we're in episode 20 now. And if you are interested in becoming a better human and you have nothing to do for the next 12 to 20 hours, I don't know because I didn't really do the math. Just go ahead
something for you to do.
Yeah, just go ahead and sit down and start listening to the podcast. Start from the beginning, skipping our very first episode, and listening to all the episodes from then. And you'll probably be better. But episode 20, we're glad to be here. Thank you for all your support. If you want to continue to support the show, go to betterhumanology.com, sign up for a free membership, and check out all of our free resources.
Dare to become a better human.
Faster than a speeding bullet.
I ran until my muscles burned and my veins pumped battery acid.
More powerful than a locomotive.
An idea is like a virus. Resilient. Highly contagious.
Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound.
So have you ever seen one of those commercials? Actually, that's what I do want to talk about, the commercial for the new FitBit.
Okay.
Well, we should probably talk about what the hell we're talking about first. So this week on the Better Humanology podcast, we tested out wearables to see if wearable technology can make you a better human
Should you wear them?
or not.
Find out.
Find out in this
next
podcast.
18 to 26 minutes.
Possibly 33. Never know. Let's talk about everything.
Yeah. So why would we want to test out wearables?
Well, I mean, they're all the rage right now, especially with the Apple Watch coming out, right?
I know, kids these days.
Kids these days. We got the Apple Watch. We got FitBit came out with a new line, and Jawbone came out with a new line. And
Fitbit's getting big, man.
Fitbit is getting big.
When I bought mine, it was pretty early on still.
And then even your iPhone itself, if you have the updated, I'm not assuming everyone has an iPhone right now, but if you have an iPhone, the updated software tracks all the stuff too, like steps and flights climbed and all the other stuff. So everything that you have on you right now or could have on you wants to track your movement in some way, shape, or form. But why? Could it actually make you better? That's why we're doing this podcast.
Right. We put cell phones, specifically iPhones, to the test this week.
No, we did not.
No, we didn't. No. I have been testing out a Fitbit for the greater part of a year now. And my man Jerred has been testing out, what is it? Something?
Jawbone.
Jawbone's fun to say. But, so I want to bring up what Fitbit says on their website about what their Fitbit products can do for you. Do you mind?
I don't mind.
All right. So what they say is, when it comes to reaching your fitness goals, steps are just the beginning. Fitbit tracks every part of your day, including activity, exercise, food, weight, and sleep to help you find your fit, stay motivated, and see how small steps make a big impact.
And that's pretty much the same claim for every wearable
Right.
piece
Yeah,
out
staying motivated, trying to help you become more fit. That's basically what, all of them are trying to help you do, right? Supposedly.
You know, what I want to bring up, though, is the fact that there are some studies that say wearables cause cancer.
Really? I haven't heard that.
Well, it's more studies based off of, like, cell phones cause cancer, and now they're worried that, like, all this wearable technology is going to cause cancer. But...
So is this like that, like, urban legend, like, type deal where if you use your laptop on your lap all the time, you can't have kids after several years of doing it, crap like that?
Are those legends, or is that just fact?
Urban legends. Come on now.
But, so you don't believe in any of that stuff?
Yeah, like the Bigfoot. Like, yeah, of course. Yeah, right. I'm getting cancer from my laptop on my crotch. Can you?
This is what people said about smoking in, like, the 40s and 50s.
Ah.
Like, smoke in and out of your lungs can't give you cancer. and now today everyone's like, don't smoke a cigarette. Oh, my God.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Thank goodness, though.
No, yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it is in the opposite direction of what our goals for this show are about.
Yeah, so Fitbit's wearables may or may
Right.
not cause cancer, but that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about the experiment. That's a horrible way to start the show.
No.
A very scary way to start the show.
No, we're just busting in, breaking stuff on our way in.
All right, so I'm rather new to the wearable world.
Right.
Talon, you dusted yours off after having taken a break from it to do this experiment.
Correct.
So I do want to know, so I'm kind of new, like I said, new to the wearable thing. I want to know more about your wearable. You're doing the Fitbit. What kind were you using, and what all can it do?
So, yeah, for about the past year, well, off and on, mostly on until the last couple of months, until the last, I guess, couple of weeks now. But I was using the FitBit, Flex, and so it's kind of like the middle tier version. I mean, it was cool. I could pick up my colors and stuff, but I mean, I like I said, I got it in about a year ago. It was still kind of on the newer end of the wearable trend going. I remember I brought it up to you, and my whole family had gotten it. I actually gotten it. My parents had given me and my fiance one, and each. And so at first it was great. I mean, I thought it was amazing. It was like having. See, I always liked to carry a pedometer back in the day. Anyway, you knew me. I mean, I used to be pretty heavy into running very, very often. So I like to carry a pedometer just because it was interesting to me to track my steps and my miles, every day. So I thought that I was going to use it like that from the very beginning. I was just like, oh, this is cool. I can see how much distance I'm traveling. I just kind of used it as like a novelty thing, like something cool. But quickly on, my family's pretty competitive. So yeah, very quickly it became like a challenge to see who could get the most steps in each day or in a week. Or Fitbit also can do challenges, so you can challenge certain people to like a weekend test, like see if you can get the most steps in a week or something like that. But so it tracks, all that. It tracks your speed and everything. I didn't have the one that I don't have the one that tracks your heart rate. But I at the beginning for me it was great because it got us very quickly into a competition with each other where we were all pushing ourselves much harder than we were before. I mean, I think when I first started using it, I didn't change anything, and I was getting like about 8,000 steps a day, which is I average 8 to 10,000, something like that. And so quickly I started pushing myself to 10 because that's what Fitbit suggests that you should push yourself to be a little bit. I guess I don't know. What they think maybe a better human might try and strive for 10,000 steps, but
better stepper.
Yeah, right. But so it was great for the first few months. I think I was telling you before, like at about the 4-month period, it was getting to the pinnacle to where I got to weeks where I was getting maybe 5 days out of the week. I was running maybe 18 to 20 miles, or not running, stepping 18 like 1,000 to 20,000 steps a day, and it was getting just absolutely crazy. Yeah, I mean, my mom and all of us were challenging each other, and it was awesome. And so I got to the very, very top pinnacle, and that was a great feeling because they have a leaderboard tracker that shows you how you're on top of all your family members or friends and peers. So I mean, Fitbit offers a way to make you challenge those that are close to you and to track your results. And so very early on, I mean, I loved it. I mean, I wore it for like 9-10 months. So I thought it was for a long time. I thought it was a really, really great thing.
So that was the Fitbit Flex.
FitBit Flex, yeah.
So what did you think about the sleep tracking? Did you?
Oh, right. Yeah, sleep tracking. See, I thought I didn't try that out until about a couple of weeks or a month into using it. I honestly just didn't know about it. I mean, I kind of just slapped it on and just started using it and didn't really look too much into it. I'll do that sometimes. But anyway, so yeah, I started using that, and I thought the sleep thing was really cool. I mean, it shows you how well you're doing, how deeply you're sleeping, and how well you sleep throughout the night. And it seemed to track it pretty, fairly accurately and well to what I could tell. But I mean, I thought it was cool, but I didn't really see. I mean, without more information, I didn't really see any use really out of knowing, maybe when I was sleeping as well. I mean, I told you already. Listeners of the show know that I'm not a great sleeper already. I've talked about all numerous times. So for me, it wasn't really much of a gain in that realm, I guess. So what about the Jawbone, man?
Yeah, so I recently got the Jawbone UP3. So it's like their brand new wearable. It's pretty cool, I guess. It does a lot of what the Fitbit can do. And I'm not 100%, like I said, I'm brand new to wearable, so I don't know if this is a cool one or not a cool one or whatever, but...
Mine had different colors, so...
Well, that's pretty cool. I actually have the app pulled up on my phone right now. What's really cool about this thing is it has the capability to track everything. So, like, I can, if I'm doing an actual workout, I can, like, start a stopwatch, and it will, like, record the workout, and then I can stop the stopwatch when the workout's over. I can add meals to it. I can add my weight to it. I can even add my mood to it. Like, how do you feel today? And then, you know, it does have the heart rate tracker, so, like, it monitors my sleep, and then it monitors my overall heart rate while I'm sleeping, which is really cool. I thought was really cool because, I was telling you earlier, so I took it upon myself to start a new experiment for betterhumanology that Talon was unaware of. Long story short, a listener recommended a crazy nootropic after our last nootropic experiment. And so I tried this nootropic plus stimulants that may be illegal soon. After doing some research, after having taken this crazy drug, completely legal, but taking it, and so I was tracking my heart rate, and the average heart rate while I was sleeping is in the 40s, and then I take this usually, and then I take this supplement, this nootropic plus near illegal stimulant supplement, and my heart rate was in the hundreds. It was
what?
Like 110 beats per minute.
That's wild.
And what's crazy is I didn't feel like my heart was racing or anything, but because of this technology, I will not be taking that crazy-ass drug anymore.
Well, that's great that I can track that, but wow, I'm surprised you were able to sleep with your heart beating so fast.
Yeah, me too. I was like, wait, what happened? Like, why? Was I having dreams all night? And I was like, oh, no, you took something crazy that you won't take again. So, and I didn't take it before bed. I took it at like 9 o'clock in the morning, which is the even scarier thing about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to the app. I think that it's really cool. It has this thing called the Smart Coach built in, and it analyzes what you do. So say you only walked, so the 10,000 steps, that's what it recommends here too. So say you only walked 5,000 today. It will it'll challenge you, like, hey, tomorrow let's do 5,500 or let's do 6,000. How about that? Do you want to do it? So like if you don't have, or, it does a lot of cool stuff. So like the night my resting heart rate was really high, the next day the Smart Coach popped up and it was like, hey, your resting heart rate was kind of high last night, which can normally be due to like dehydration. Do you want to challenge yourself to drink more water today?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it analyzes a lot of the stuff that you do, and I don't use half of the features on here. Like, I don't log any of my food. I've done my weight like twice, but I don't log my mood. I do track my workouts and stuff, but
Yours so the Jawbone's like a wearable little robot conscience.
yeah, that's what's the Smart Coach thing. I think is supposed to be what like sets it apart from other. At least what I was reading is like the sets it apart from other wearables. I mean, the Fitbit, you had the older generation. I think there's some crazy new Fitbits now that like can get your text messages and like play music, and it has GPS and like all this other crazy stuff.
Okay.
So the Fitbits have even got crazy too. This is like, I don't know, they're all getting a little crazy, but at the heart of it.
Wearable technology, man.
I know, but like
future.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. Is that the future? So we've been wearing wearables for a while. You much longer than I have. I've been wearing mine for a few weeks, and we can kind of make an assessment on it, on what we think. But when you first got a wearable and you put it on, what did you think this was going to be, like a life-changing device that you add to your daily routine?
No, like I said, I thought, oh, cool, like almost like wearing a watch, or like just wearing a pedometer, just on like as a bracelet. I mean, I guess I treat it like an accessory. I didn't really even look that much into it until like I had been using it for like a month.
Yeah, so you didn't think it'd do too much, and I'm along the same lines. Like, I have like my workout schedule. I'm gonna work out how I work out every day. I don't care what I'm wearing on my wrist.
Right.
But I was interested to know, if it would push me any more. And I would say yes and no. Like part of it, what I really don't like about it is, so I worked out like, was this today or yesterday? I worked out like an hour and a half, and I had the Jawbone on the whole time. I did like a lot of lifting. I did a conditioning workout. Then I did like 2 conditioning workouts, like metabolic conditioning, CrossFit-like workouts, if you will. And then at the end of the workout, I stopped it. I was like, oh, it probably thinks I moved a lot. And it was like, you moved a quarter mile. And it's like, and it seems like you moved at an easy pace. Maybe try harder tomorrow. And I'm like, what? Like that, I think that's the biggest gap in wearable technology right now is like not being conducive to like non-runners or non-walker. Like that's all they do. They're glorified pedometers, in my opinion, as far as I think that it does a ton of cool stuff. Like I was talking about, like, hey, you need to drink more water today. Your heart rate was jacked up. Like it challenges me to move more, and like all this other stuff is really cool, and I think it's really helpful. But I think if you're already like really into fitness, there's a lot of stuff lacking.
Right. Yeah. I mean, geez, all that stuff you even talked about, Fitbit doesn't even do some of that. Not the one I have anyway. I mean,
you want Jawbone, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, Jawbone sounds way cooler. I mean, I don't like how my little robot conscience could be, giving me bad advice because he doesn't know that I've been working out so hard. If I'm doing a lifting workout or something like that, though, I think that would just piss me off.
Well, that's the only thing. And so Jawbone doesn't do it. Fitbit doesn't do it. But there is this rather new company, like within the last year or two, called Atlas Wearables.
Yeah.
I know you and I have talked about it, and D, our producer, he was the one who actually pointed me to this like a long time ago.
Name drop.
Shout
out D. What's up?
And so the Atlas Wearable, guys, if the listeners haven't checked out Atlas Wearables, I think you totally should. I can't vouch for the product because I don't have one yet. I have ordered one, but it hasn't come yet. I'm in the next shipment batch. But this thing looks promising as far as the non-running community is concerned. Of like, it knows when you're squatting, it knows when you're doing a rope climb, like it knows when you're swimming, it knows when you're
curling. Yeah,
it knows everything. It counts your reps, and then you can enter the weight, like all sorts of stuff. So this thing, I don't think it goes as far in like the sleep tracking and the pedometer settings and all that other stuff, but the Atlas wearable seems like that is bridging the gap between all the other wearables right now.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I think that's something just about this wearable technology in general. I think, like even you've seen with mine's only the last generation. Already so many different new, different types of things it can do are out already. Since this last generation came out, I think that with wearable technology, the way technology is, that'll just keep happening, and you'll get ones that can do more and greater things to try and help you be able to track your fitness.
So let's talk about that. You said when you were challenged from other people, because I mean, obviously you like competition, you moved a lot more. So you're seeing that they can be a good thing. Yeah.
So for me, like I said, for those first several months, it was an enormously positive thing. I mean, it got me so hyped up. I was making videos to challenge like my family and like trash talking them during runs because I was just having so much fun with it. Like it really just motivated me to run that much more often. Which, I mean, I love running anyways, but it gave me a way to, like, I don't know, I guess make it more fun. And I think that was a great thing about it was early on, but. Like I described earlier, when I got to that pinnacle where I was just on top of everybody in the leaderboard category, maybe just for myself, but at that point, once I reached that number one spot for me, that the motivation and the kind of the novelty of pushing myself to be at the very top of the leaderboard kind of wore away. But I really do think it was for several months it was definitely a factor in pushing me to move a lot more, to walk a lot more, to run more. So
what if you had a more worthy competitor?
Well, that's not the case. I mean, that wasn't the problem because actually my mom and producer D, you mentioned earlier, are by far more steppers than me. Maybe it's by way of the jobs they do. I know Dee's a teacher. My mom's a professional homemaker, and so she's always on her feet knocking out stuff. So maybe by nature of what they do every day, they get that much more steps. Maybe it's just by their motivation or how much they run. But I know my mom's big into aerobics. I think she gets tons of steps from that. But so no, it wasn't a matter of the competition level, because they're pretty great, pretty fantastic step getters, man. I mean, I think she averages on 18 anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
That's crazy.
So it wasn't by competition.
Well, I think another feature that mine does, you can set an idle alert.
Okay.
And so if I and you can set it to like 10 minutes, I think, 20, 30, 40, 50 an hour. And so if I sit for more than 20 minutes, it'll give me a little vibrate. It'll start vibrating.
Get your butt up.
Yeah, move your ass. You've been sitting for too long. And I think that's pretty cool. That's something I have found probably more useful than anything else, because I spend a lot of time on my computer, and you don't realize how fast. Like, I'll be like, oh, I just got to answer a couple emails or whatever, and you think that in your mind you're like, yeah, this is a 10-minute project or something, and then my Fitbit goes off, and I'm like, wow, dang,
it's been 30 minutes or an hour.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Time.
Yeah, so I think that's really good, because it hasn't affected me moving, I would say, at all. That ever since I found out that it's not really going to track my workouts very well, that I kind of as far as the fitness element is concerned, I was kind of no longer interested.
Yeah, but if you're saying that, if it reminds you that time is fleeting and that, you need to, do what you can to be a better human now because you don't have forever, then I think that's a great thing. That's awesome.
No, I think I do. I think that's a huge plus. Okay, get up, move around. Maybe I'll walk, but I'm not going to go on a mile-long walk because this thing vibrated at me. I'll either just be okay, I still have more work to do.
Right.
I worked out for 2 hours this morning. And that's the only thing that bothered me is you could do an incredibly hard workout in the morning, and it doesn't, just because you do a hard workout in the morning doesn't mean you can sit on your ass for 8 hours and do nothing for the rest of the day. I think that you should be moving a certain amount throughout the day, but I'm just saying, since it basically didn't register my workouts, I was like, okay, you don't know what you're talking about. So I, as far as my step goal is all I'm trying to say. That has motivated me to be I got to get this many steps in a day, because I'm I already worked out a lot. If you think that I'm not moving, I can row 5,000 meters, and if you think that that's a quarter mile, whatever, so.
Yep. And you're dumb, Jawbone.
Yeah, you're dumb, Jawbone. So that was one thing I didn't like. I do love the idle alert, and then the other thing I love is the sleep tracking. I'm a huge fan of the sleep tracking right now, at least. I think it's really cool because, your resting heart rate is a huge indicator of your health, and in all honesty, if I didn't have it, I'd probably still be taking that horrible nootropic, because I wouldn't have known my heart rate was jacked up one night. And something interesting I learned when I was at basically an athlete seminar camp a few months ago, or maybe a year ago, is one of the things a few things that you can do to track your recovery to see if you're ready to train the next day. This is for people who work out a ton.
Right.
So the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, you test your resting heart rate. Have we talked about this before?
I don't think so.
Okay. So you test. Maybe you and I have talked about it. Maybe just not on the podcast.
Probably we've talked about most things.
So you wake up in the morning. You test your resting heart rate real quick. You give yourself an overall okay, how do I feel? Just a
body check.
Yeah, just how do I feel? And then you should have a pulse ox, the thing that also tells you how much your oxygen level in your body.
Right.
And then you pee, if you have to pee in the morning, and you see what color your pee is. So those, was that 4 things? should determine whether or not you're training that day. So
if you train at all.
Yeah, if you train at all.
If you should.
Yeah, so if your resting heart rate's jacked up, your oxygen levels are low, you're not feeling great, and your pee looks like Coca-Cola. Hopefully it never actually looks like that.
Go to the hospital.
Yeah, that means you have rhabdo, but like don't train that day. And that's obvious. I gave worst case scenarios, but like if you've been averaging like say 50 or 60 beats per minute, and then you wake up one day and it's 70 beats per minute and your oxygen levels are a little low, maybe you shouldn't train that day. So that's why I kind of think that, and like I said, that's for like really hardcore athletes. It's not for people who are working out like 3 or 4 times a week. It's for people who are working out like multiple times a day for a few weeks. This is they were giving that information to us as coaches to like help train people at like high levels and stuff. But yeah, I really found that interesting. So now I'm really interested in tracking my sleep and like my resting heart rate and seeing how I sleep overall. So long-winded answer to saying I like the sleep tracking part of the Jawbone.
Because it will help with this other practice that you talked about.
Sure.
Got it. So you gonna approve this thing or what, man?
I'm gonna approve it. I'll specifically approve the Jawbone UP3 because I think that the smart coach has actually impressed me a few times because it's information that like I might already know, but I'm like, that's pretty freaking awesome. Like other people should be wearing this and know the same thing. Like, because it does challenge you like little things here and there, and it kind of analyzes you and it'll give you a challenge. So it'll be like you've averaged this many steps over the last week. We want to challenge you to this many more steps today, and then you can say yes, and then it's like an achievable goal. Do you know what I mean? So like, say you never walked 10,000 steps. Say you only ever walked 4,000 steps in a day.
Right.
And so then it'll know that over a week, and it'll be like, you only ever walk 4,000. We want you to walk 4,500 or 5,000. And so
you're saying is no matter your fitness level.
Yeah, it's going to challenge you to be better at your own level, not better at, because like, I know if someone was like, you need to squat 1,000 pounds in like the next couple months, I'll be like, well, I don't even care about that goal because it's not possible. Like I'd have no interest in it. But if it was somewhere that seemed like just
you're dumb, Jawbone.
Yes, if it seemed very achievable, then I would go after it. And so I think that it's cool that it gives you an achievable goal that's based off of stuff you've already done.
I think it sounds cool. It sounds a little bossy.
It is a little bossy. I turned the notifications on. I was like, yeah, just tell me everything. And it's just like, it tells me stuff all day. It's like, you're lazy right now. You're only at 20% of your goal right now. Like, drink more water right now. So it definitely can make you a better human. So I'm going to have to give it an approval based off of how in my face it is all the time.
Right. So
your turn.
I guess that leaves it to me. So I talked about how great I thought it was for those first few months, but the problem is basically after those first few months, like I said, or like I alluded to, I guess, elevated motivation level waned. I mean, it wasn't like that elevated motivation level stayed high after, competing every month or every week or every day, trying to top my family or D, So once I got there, for me personally, that kind of fell off, and it just became again back to the novelty of tracking my steps and how far I got into. So I mean, it was still helpful. I just don't think it pushed me for the long term, but I do think since it pushed me in the short term that I've seen how it can affect me positively and help motivate me to work out more, run more, step more, walk more, get up and move more often. So because of that, I will prove it for everybody else because I do think that maybe I'm just one of the outlier cases that it doesn't continue to motivate for a long period of time. But
I don't think anybody, like, even just wearing a watch. Like, I wear a watch most days, but then some days I just don't feel like it.
No, that's not me. See, I'm a watch every day kind of guy. I'm a watch every day if I'm not. I was like that when I was a kid. When I was in high school, I never wore a watch. When I was in college, I never wore a watch. And then somehow when I got out and I was in the, I was in the Air Force, I just had to I don't know, it just became habit. And now, even if I'm not going to leave the house all day, I still need to have my watch on.
Well, see, that's what's interesting to me. So you pointed out you made it a habit, right? So the research says that it takes anywhere from 18 to 66 days to create a habit. And so, like, researchers...
Dropping knowledge.
Well, yeah.
Dropping knowledge.
I got that from
knowledge.
when I interviewed what's his name, James Clear, the Habit guy, early on in the podcast. So 18 to 66 days. That 21 days to make or break a habit is kind of a myth, but so it's 18 to 66 days to make a habit, and you wore a Fitbit for more past 66 days.
Yes.
And
it was definitely a habit.
So
Absolutely.
it was a habit, but you were just like, at some point, you were like, nah.
It would die, and I would still wear it. That's how habitual it became. And that's how used to even just like seeing the accessory on my wrist, I became, to it.
Because that's what I can see a lot of people putting on a wearable and wearing it for like 7 days, 10 days, and then they take it off one day because they don't want to wear it that day, and then they just kind of don't put it back on. And so the real problem is they never created the habit, and they end up not wearing the wearable, blah, blah, blah. But you straight up created the habit and decided consciously, you're like, I'm not going to wear this thing anymore.
Yes, because it just didn't generate any additional motivation, or what else was it say? I mean, see, Fitbit says, help you find your fit, stay motivated. I already said that. And then see how small steps make a big impact. Sure, yeah. I mean, I definitely saw how I could get to where I was doing, 20,000 steps a day in consecutive days is small steps, gradually leading up to a big impact. I can see that, yeah, and it got me that. Helped me. I don't know about helping me find my fit. That might be the ultimately the reason helped me find my fit and not generating any additional motivation for the reason I gave up on it, because I'm already fairly fit person, and I didn't need. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe because I already have enough motivation to maintain my fit that I don't need to find another way to help me find my fit. But we talked about earlier, it can help everybody get better. So maybe that is the biggest thing that came down for me, is that I just didn't feel like it was pushing me to get better at that point anymore. Because I think I started branching back off into getting more. You go through phases where you're like, I get addicted to running, or I get addicted to I don't know, doing like, I don't know, lifting or whatever. I get addicted to whatever it is. I mean, playing sports, playing basketball, whatever it is, different times you get super addicted to. I just do anyway. I go through phases where I get super addicted to one thing at a time. I think I maybe moved into more of like one of those lifting periods or something like that at this point anyway. So that kind of helped me facilitate that, move away from Fitbit a few months ago. But I don't know. It just didn't continue to make a big impact on me. Like I said, I had worn it for a few days after it already died. It started having problems, and I was just like, I knew about ways to fix it, and it was over for me. I mean, yeah, maybe that was part of it too, having the problems, but it was just maybe multiple things compounded into an issue where it wasn't worth it for me anymore. So, yeah, I mean, I approve it for everybody else, but for me, it just long-term effects weren't there.
Yeah, and I think I like the simplicity of the Fitbit you have, and the Jawbone I have is very similar. There's no like display or anything, but I think like coming like even the next generation, the ultimate Fitbit, I don't even know what it's called now. It's like the crazy Fitbit that has like, it's like a $300 watch. It has GPS. It has like, MP3 player. It can read your text messages, and then the same with the Apple Watch. And honestly, I think that stuff is kind of overkill.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds like a great accessory, but does it make you a better human?
Yeah, I mean, the Fitbit's new commercial has like this guy, and I don't know how this made it through their whole like little marketing chain or whatever. So this guy, he's got his like $300 Fitbit on, and he goes outside. He's like, I'm gonna go for a run. He starts his run. He gets like, I don't know, maybe 50 steps into his run. And then he gets a message on his watch, and it says, pretty much, it's from his wife, and it's like, oh crap, my mom's coming to our house. We need to clean. And
right.
he looks at his watch, and he's like, oh, okay. let me turn around. Time to clean. And I'm like, the watch just ruined your workout. Like, I'm really glad that you get to help your wife now or whatever, but like the whole reason a Fitbit exists, like you just killed it. Like you decided to go home instead of work out. So like,
right.
And that's a valid point because I don't think I need all that extra distraction if I'm going to be working out. So
No.
But I think that's it, man. I think we have covered wearables as thoroughly as we can from the two devices that we wore.
Yeah.
So approved for me, approved for you.
Approved for me, with some hesitation in the long term. I think it's a good investment for a few months for everybody, and then long term, maybe it just depends on who you are. So approved overall, though.
All right, so wearables approved. Get one. Become a better human.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Better Humanology podcast. If you want to know about any of the resources we talked about, head on over to betterhumanology.com and check out the podcast show notes. Likewise, we have betterhumanology.com/toolbox where you can find every resource that we've ever talked about on the podcast. So go check it out. Until next time, here's to becoming a better human.
Your best. Losers always whine about their best.